Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Julie, and if you're just joining us, we are currently in week 4 of the How to Create Your Dream Space series. Just a quick recap, week 1 was all about determining the function of your space. Week 2 was all about finding your style. Week 3, we talked about color palettes. Today is all about measuring space and learning how to scale furniture so it fits perfectly within the confines of your room. If you're looking around your room right now and you're wondering why it might be feeling cramped, or there might be too much space, or if you could simply make better use of space, this video is for you. Before we get started, please take a moment to like this video if you've been enjoying the content so far. Comment below and let me know if there's any design dilemmas I could help you with, and of course, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. The most common mistake I see made in interiors time and time and again always has to do with scale. In residential design, scale has to do with the size of an object in relation to the space that it occupies, while proportion is all about the relationship of elements to one another and to the whole. Interior designers always factor in scale and proportion as the driving principles of interior design to make a room feel completely balanced. By the time you're done with this video, you'll be able to tell me exactly what is wrong with your space when it comes to scale and proportion. Let's bust out those tape measures and jump right in. We'll be diving through a couple of examples to show you how to measure your room and how to lay out the furniture proportionally to fit the space. Let's start with a typical bedroom. We'll be using the same formula from room to room. First, we need to measure the space. You want to measure the room, length times width times height. Consider all the factors that have to do with the interior design of the space. The door openings, the window openings, any architectural detailings like built-ins, bookcases, or recessed niches. Now it's time to prioritize the focal wall. In a bedroom, it's pretty simple. The focal wall would be your bed. You want to start by inserting your bed size. I typically like to start with the largest bed that you can fit in the space. Once you center that bed on the focal wall, measure the space that you have left over on both sides of the bed so you can figure out the size of the nightstands. The goal is to maximize that entire width of wall as much as possible. If you have 3 feet left over on both sides of the bed, you want to look for a nightstand, a dresser, or even a cabinet with doors that maximizes the leftover space you have on both sides. If you have a larger focal wall and more space in your bedroom, you could designate zones, one for sleeping, one for lounging. In this case, you can figure out the size of your nightstands, plop that in on one side of the bed, place the bed right next to it, and mirror that look with symmetrical nightstands on the other side. What you have left over will be the space that is designated for your alternate zone. Here's a before image of my bedroom when I purchased this home. You can see that the previous owners had 2 small nightstands. They offset the bed, so the bed wasn't in the middle. As you can see, the reason they placed it this way was because they were trying to fit in a large dresser on the side as well. I think my current bedroom makes better use of space. Not only was I able to place a larger bed within the space, I also flanked it with symmetrical nightstands so the room feels elegant and balanced. The dresser then served as double duty. Not only is it a space for extra storage, but it also became my TV console as well. Once you plop in the bed, the 2 nightstands, then you can figure out the size of the area rug, an end of bed bench if you can fit it, and any other special allowances you need for furniture in your bedroom. Moving on to a dining room. We'll be using the same formula. You'll measure the length and the width and the height of your dining space. If the dining space only has 2 walls and it's open to other adjacent areas, you'll want to measure the general layout of where your dining table should go. Once you measure the length and width of the room, you'll want to subtract at least 3 feet or 42 inches away from the walls. This will be the maximum size of a dining table that you can fit within the space. Why do you need this extra space? 36 to 42 inches is the space you need to comfortably scoot chairs in and out from underneath the dining table. Once you figure out the maximum size of your dining table, you'll be able to figure out the maximum number of chairs that you can get around the table. You typically want 12 to 18 inches away from the next seat. This will allow everyone seated to have ample wiggle room. Now that you have your dining table mapped out, the dining chairs in place, it's time to figure out the size of the area rug. If you remember from my Ultimate Area Rugs video, you want to specify the largest area rug you can fit within the space. This means when the dining chairs are pushed out, you're still seated on top of the area rug. If you're not, then the area rug is too small. If you have ample space left over in this dining room, you might want to create a new focal wall. You can do this by anchoring a buffet, a credenza, or a console, place a mirror or artwork above it, and nice decor that suits your style and aesthetic. We'll be going through a couple of living room examples because I know not everyone's living room is the same. Let's start with the basics. Measure the length, the width, and the height of the room. Of course, consider all those allowances like door openings, windows, built-ins, molding, anything that's going to spatially affect the interior design of the space. In order to determine the spatial layout of your furniture, you want to first figure out the focal point in the room. If your living room has a fireplace, the fireplace is almost always the focal point. If the living room doesn't have a fireplace, the gorgeous view will be your focal point. If the room lacks a fireplace, windows with a gorgeous view, then typically the longest wall in that room will become your focal point. That longest wall might support a TV or bookshelf or whatever the function of the room permits. Once you determine the focal point of the room, you'll place the largest sofa facing that focal point. You'll then place your secondary seating at a right angle, either to the left or the right of that largest sofa. Sometimes you anchor this against the wall, sometimes you float it in space depending on how much space you have. Once you have your sofa in place and your secondary seating in place, you'll want to measure about 12 to 18 inches away from the edge of the seat to determine the largest coffee table that you can fit into the space. Why do you need those 12 to 18 inches? Well, you need somewhere to put your legs, you need somewhere to walk around the table. If you impede on these 12 to 18 inches, the coffee table is too large. If you go any smaller than those 12 to 18 inches, the coffee table is too small. That is what scale and proportion means. You want all of the objects in the room to be scaled proportionately to the size of the room and its relationship to each other. Now that the main furniture pieces are in place, you can map out the largest area rug you can get in the room with all of the furniture sitting neatly above it. Then finally, you can layer all those fun accent pieces like end tables, side tables, sofa tables, plants, a floor lamp, pretty much anything else you need to complete the space. Now here's a question I get asked all the time. How do you design furniture in an open concept living room? If you've been following along the series, you'll know that the first step is always to determine the function. If you know how you'd like to use the space, you can then specify furniture pieces to help you support the function of your day-to-day lifestyle. Let's take, for example, an L-shaped open concept space. This L-shaped open concept is very much like my space. You walk into the home and you're met with this L-shaped open space that opens right up into the kitchen. I have a designated dining space on the other side of my home. So the challenge was to figure out, what am I supposed to do with this open concept space? Once you have your plan laid out, you'll see that you can designate 2 separate zones with these rectangles. I decided that the first zone that you walk right into from my entry would be the living room, and this secondary zone would become a casual dining nook. I also use it as another spot to play games, read my magazines, and watch TV. Consider how you live and allow the furniture placement to work in your favor. Using the same formula and steps as above, you want to consider the focal point in the room and place your largest sofa facing that focal point. Even though I have a fireplace that's off to the side in this open concept plan, I don't consider that the focal point in this space. The focal point in this room became this long elevation. This elevation includes my television, my TV consoles, and matching bookshelves that visually merges both the casual dining nook and the living room all in one space. If you apply this formula to every room in your home, considering the focal wall first, then laying out the largest piece of furniture, the rest should come really easy. A lot of interior design principles take into consideration human factors. Factors such as the aisle or the walkway that's created around furniture so you can walk around it. This also includes your chairs at the dining table, the space you need apart from each other, and how to easily get in and out of bed. The more you design and the more experience you get, the more these principles would naturally become just common sense. If you're following along this formula and it still doesn't work, tell me why not. Have you deduced that your sofa is too large for your living room? Your dining room is too cramped because there's one chair too many? Your bedroom feels off because your nightstands are too small and there's too much wall space left over? Comment below and let me know the one area that you can apply these tips to achieve better scale and balance. Scale and proportion is without a doubt the 2 most important elements to achieve great design. One that I see people struggling with the most when it comes to interior design in their space. When you consider the size and the scale of the furniture in relation to the space, you will maximize every square inch of space and make better use of the room as a whole. That's it for today. We are halfway through this series already. Next week is what most of you might find the most fun part of interior design, the shopping. Tune in to get my best tips for sourcing furniture and accessories, how to filter and find everything you need online, plus how to find the best deals that you don't need a designer discount to get. If you've been enjoying this series, please like and give this video a thumbs up. Remember to comment below and let me know the one area that you can apply today's tips. Share this series with all your friends and family that need interior design help. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Remember to hit that little notification bell of new videos that we drop every Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.